May 31st and June 1st, 1921. Dates that 100 years ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma, live in infamy as the city's Greenwood district, known as Black Wall Street, was looted and burned by white leaders and residents. As many as 300 people died, tens of thousands left homeless, and the effects are still being felt a century later, even here in our city, where elected officials want to make sure that this massacre is never forgotten. News 12's Greg Thompson has the story.
As surreal as the scene you just described as, the Tulsa race massacre is something that's rarely, if ever, taught about in schools. And as a result, a lot of people around the country are really just starting to learn about it over the last few years, sparking a national conversation, which is continuing today in the Concourse Village section of the Bronx. U.S. Representative Richie Torres, joined by state and other elected Bronx officials like City Council member Vanessa Gibson and Bronx DA Darcel Clark, for a press conference announcing plans to introduce resolutions at both the federal and city levels to officially name June 1st as Black Wall Street Day. It's part of a nationwide effort by advocates looking for a way to properly honor the events of 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with people on hand saying it's important to educate the country on the truth of what really happened so that Americans can learn from it.
The sheer destruction of what could have been and should have been $27 million of intergenerational black wealth has left behind a legacy of racial inequality that remains with us.
If this happened in any other community, the response would have been different. You wouldn't hear the lies that were told against this community as if they did anything wrong.
Like we mentioned, this really is a national conversation. President Biden is in Tulsa today giving a speech that will both remember the victims and announce plans that his administration is going to take to address the racial wealth gap. He's the first president ever to mark the Tulsa race massacre. In Concourse Village, Greg Thompson, News 12.